Welcome to Ed Cavaliers Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, for Section 5 football. We've got the East High Eagles versus the Wilson Wildcats. My name is Matt Stathopoulos, joined by George Radney. Once again, you remember us from the Churchville-Chili East game that was here a couple of weeks ago. George, how are you this afternoon?
Excellent. Right, ready for beautiful weather. I'm ready to see an exciting game of football today.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't overly chilly the last time we were here, but it certainly wasn't this hot. Now,
No,
I wonder
wasn't.
how that's going to play a factor for the guys on the field today. I mean, I don't know for your experience with football and whatnot, George, but do you think these guys would prefer it being nice outside, or do you think maybe they like a little bit cooler weather so they can kind of warm up as the game goes on?
Guys should be in shape by now. These are young high schoolers. After training camp, they've already have roughly 3 games under their belts now. They should be well conditioned. East was on the field quite a lot 2 weeks ago when I was here for the McQuaid game. They were by now they're fit. Hot weather like this is really good because you break a sweat. It gets you going. You get looser, your hamstring. They were stretching. Both teams did a lot of stretching exercises out there. They should be ready to go. We're looking forward to an excellent contest this afternoon.
Yes, that's right. As you see the teams convening here on the field as we get set to listen to the performance of the Star-Spangled Banner, as is the usual ritual before all games.
Oh, we even have umbrellas up for such a sign. Okay.
And there we have a very nice rendition of the national anthem, as always, as now we get closer and closer to kickoff here at Ed Cavaliers Stadium. Now, George, the Wilson Wildcats coming into this game 2-0, East coming in 0-2. Not the start for the Eagles. We remember the game against Churchville-Chili, and you can probably speak for some of the other ones as well, but I mean, if you had to pick one thing that East has to do different this time around, what's it going to be against a tough team like Wilson?
Well, they can't turn the ball over. Number one. Number two, they can't lose their composure. And that's, to me, coaching. The coach has to drill in them all week long. You can't take leg hits. You can't hit after the whistle has blown. They did a lot of that against McQuaid. They paid for it with 15, plus sometimes it was 30-yard penalties when you take on the actual play and then the penalty afterwards. They gave up 30 yards in one chunk a few times last 2 weeks ago. So they really got to get themselves under control, play a controlled football game, get the ball with bubble screens, get it to those wideouts, and get them down the field because they could be in trouble early if they turn the ball over against a Wilson Wildcat team.
Would you say a lot of their success is dependent on Jatavia and James Simmons as well, their quarterback? We saw him a couple weeks ago against Churchville. We know he had a few of those turnovers that you were alluding to earlier, and it seemed like he was a little bit rough. Perhaps maybe it was week 1 jitters, but now do you think he'll be more composed and ready to go for a game that's a little bit bigger against a bigger team?
He turned the ball over a lot against McQuaid as well. He's got to get control of the ball. He has to. If not, his backup quarterback did a decent job, who came in and played quarterback later in the game. Anthony Gilbert, who came in and did a decent job. A decent job meaning he did not turn the football over. As long as they don't turn the ball over, East will be in this game this afternoon. They got to play under control. They got to play with getting the bubble screens out to their wideouts and no turnovers, especially their quarterback.
All right, well, we'll see how it plays out as the results of the coin toss have concluded. Didn't exactly catch who will be getting getting what, but it looks as if Wilson has elected to receive or not necessarily elected. Obviously, that would depend on who won the coin toss. We must have missed it, but either way, the Wildcats are getting the ball. And
East deferred.
East deferred. Okay, so yeah,
East deferred. That's becoming a favorite
so they
thing.
did win the coin toss and elect to kick.
And number 18. Hey, we can see the jerseys a little bit better, man.
Yeah.
Last time it was a little bit a 7 o'clock start. And
right. With the lights shining down on them, it was a little bit tougher, but hopefully this time it'll work out in our favor.
So these jerseys work great in daylight. That's what looks like a bright sunshine. Because man. Yeah, you can actually see them today. It's kind of popping off the screen. Number 18 is about to tee it up.
There we go. It's Malcolm Brown getting set for the kickoff here at Ed Cavalier Stadium.
Here we go.
And we are underway.
We have football
here at East High. It's fielded there by Ja'Kear Moore. He makes a couple of moves, and he's eventually brought down at about the 35-yard line. So Wilson will start this game off with pretty good field position.
Excellent drive start. Good play. The field just took his legs from him, and he went down at the 35, and they get a good drive start, the Wilson Wildcats. And let's see, they have a very good offense as well. So I expect this to be a high-flying option here with some option and some passing. I think they'll East had McQuaid 2 weeks ago. They had trouble stopping their passing game. Let's see how they handle this Wildcat passing attack.
Stepping into the frame is James Cotton. I can't exactly. Sorry, that's not James Cotton. That was a Deshaun Dash with the screen pass over complete to Ricky Gamble Jr. for a gain of about 3 yards.
Yes, we're going to keep our eye on Ricky Gamble Jr. He's one of their go-to guys, as well as number 11 there. He's another guy that's really
Javon Johnson.
Johnson. Watch out for these guys. They already done put the ball in the hand of Ricky Gamble Jr. I expect him to have a big day against this East High secondary.
My apologies for that quarterback mix-up, but I got it right, and I promise I won't do that again. As here on 2nd and 9, it's the pitch. A couple of nice moves put on there by Daquan Hill, but he's eventually brought down. Not sure if he gained much of anything on that one.
Yeah, he was more side to side. He got to go downfield. He was I think a little bit too much of shake and bake there. He got to get that ball. Once he received that pitch, he got to decide which hole he's going to go with, take the ball through, and he was a little bit indecisive in that. Good defensive play, a pickup of only roughly 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, they're going to say it's a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and 7 from the 38. Out of the gun dash.
Here we go.
And he steps back to pass, looking downfield.
Got a man.
And it's incomplete. That was intended for Javon Johnson, the man who you just mentioned a moment ago, George. He nearly had him.
Yes, indeed. Good defensive play there. Very good defense by Jalen Holmes. Jalen Holmes had a good game a couple weeks ago in the secondary. I see he's learning his lessons. He stayed with his man. You get a tendency to look back into the backfield to see where the ball is coming from. This time he had very excellent position, and he was there to defend the play.
Jalen Holmes is also quite the wide receiver for the East High Eagles. They're going to need a big game from him on both ends of the field, I guess, at this point. But for right now, it'll bring up 4th and 7, and the punting unit is on for Wilson. And on to deliver the punt is Ja'Kear Moore. He sends it high in the air. It just gets past the 50-yard line. Eventually will roll out of bounds in Wilson's territory at the 49, I believe they'll mark that. So some pretty darn good field position for East to get started here.
There we go.
If you're just joining us, we're 10:24 remaining in the first quarter. Obviously no score, only one team has had possession thus far, and it was the Wilson Wildcats. They nearly had a big gain off of a play from quarterback Deshaun Dash that was intended for Javon Johnson. It could have been a gain of about 20 yards, but it was just broken up nicely by East. But meanwhile, here is East with their first possession of the game, and they'll mark it at the 50. It'll be 1st and 10 from there.
Oh, we got encroachment.
That we do. A great play by
72.
James Simmons.
Yeah, 72 on the trying to see who that is on defense. But but yeah, they got him. He's the nose guard too. And when you're the nose guard, they teach you to keep your eye on the ball. And number 52 didn't keep his eye on the ball. He went with the sound.
That's right. That's a nice way to pick up an extra 5 yards for East. Trying to do it again. My apologies. That's not Jatavian James Simmons in at QB.
Jalen Holmes.
Yes, it was Jalen Holmes, and he'll hand it off for a gain of about 1 on the play. And that'll bring up second down as
looked like he decided to make some coaching. The coach made some changes here.
Yeah.
With his offense was very stagnant against McQuaid a couple weeks ago, so they decided to obviously make some adjustments and coming up with some different plays here.
Now it's Kenny Wilson in at QB for East on 2nd and 4 from the 44-yard line, and he really loves to try and get Wilson to jump offside. He was unsuccessful there, but there's the snap and the handoff to the outside. That was Freddie Brock on the carry, and he's brought down at about the 44-yard line for a gain of nothing, and that'll bring up third down.
He actually lost a yard on that one. Yeah, he actually lost a yard. So that was a good defense. And the East realizes that they got to get the ball in Freddie Brock's hands. Got to get it in his hands this week. Allow him to make things happen because he's an exciting player, and he has breakaway speed as well, and he can get into the end zone rather quickly. Yeah,
he had a couple of good looks against Churchville Chili the last game we both did together, George. So I would agree in that case. And here, let's see what they can do as it's Jalen Holmes in at QB once again for East. Coaching staff for the Eagles really keeping them fresh here, giving them extra chances.
No,
and then that one's intercepted. Sorry, it was Kenny Wilson again at quarterback, but that was picked off by Ricky Gamble Jr. of Wilson, and he will take it to the house. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Yes, indeed. It's all right. Nice to have a wide receiver playing in your secondary as well, because he bobbled it, caught it, and was off to the races.
It actually went off the hands of Jalen Holmes. My apologies for thinking he was at quarterback. For clarification, it was Kenny Wilson at QB for East. The pass was intended for Jalen Holmes, got deflected, as you said, George, and then picked off by Ricky Gamble Jr. and brought to the end zone.
Right. That was a nice play. Very nice.
The field goal unit is on. It will be Anthony Jabray Jr. attempting to knock in the extra point for Wilson. The kick is up, and it is no good.
No good. Somebody got a hand on it, looked like it. Looked like it was deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, it definitely looked like it changed direction en route, and it also didn't look like they had Jabray Jr. got all of it on the kick. So whatever the case is, it's no good, and the Wildcats miss out on the opportunity to put the bonus point up.
Right.
But, hey, pretty good start here for Wilson from a defensive standpoint, a pick 6, and they jump out to a rather early lead as we're down to 8:31 to go in this first quarter. Definitely something to be proud about if you're Wilson.
Yeah, bad look for East on that because they have a hard time scoring. They definitely didn't want to turn the ball over and give up 6 points on a turnover, and that's exactly what they did. So their offense is going to have to adjust. He's playing multiple quarterbacks today. Somebody's going to have to take the reign and say they want to be the starting quarterback for East. Eagles.
Yeah, you can't think that would be a good thing if you have guys constantly subbing in and out of QB, because then there's no consistency ever developing. So we'll continue to monitor that and see how it plays out for the Eagles.
Right.
As Jakir Moore is on to kick it off for the Wildcats after their pick 6. It's fielded at the 15-yard line by East. That's Kenny Wilson.
I think he went down
on the return. Was he down by contact, though?
I thought he went down before. Yeah, he was down before the contact. He slipped. Yeah, at about the 31-yard line.
All right, we will see.
He slipped down, got back up, and picked up about 4 more yards. But that's only in the NFL, where you can't be touched.
Right.
And you can get back up. But that was a nice return.
1st and 10 from the 31 for East. It will be. In at QB is Kenny Wilson. And it's definitely something we have to keep letting you know about because we had a couple of
Changes,
QB switches on that first drive for the Eagles. But out of the gun, Wilson with a handoff, and up the middle goes Deljon Johnson for a pretty big gain.
Nice run. Young man was like a bowling ball there. He just went right up the middle and carried 2 or 3 Wilson defenders. Wilson is really light, and I see, boy, they are kind of light on their defensive line and also in their linebacker and cornerback. The entire defense is light.
On the bench as well, it just doesn't seem like there's as many people as you normally see on a high school sideline. But here's 1st and 10 from the 43 for East. They'll give it to Johnson again, and he picks up a few yards.
Yeah, because number 55 and 57 are in street clothes today. They're not even out there. 57 and 55. They're Anthony is a hard-nosed, physical ball player. I see he's not dressed today, so they got some guys not dressed. Yeah, there's 57 over there, and there's 55. Yeah, those guys aren't dressed today. So yeah, they're going with some lightweights. It's a good idea to run that ball up the middle, run it right up the gut, until make Wilson stop it.
2nd and 6 from the 46. And Wilson will take it himself up the middle, but he's quickly brought down.
Football coming loose, too.
And I don't believe it was turned over, but, yeah, for a little bit it did come out and was free. Interesting choice to keep that on the ground. Actually, I shouldn't say interesting. It has been working for these first couple of plays of this drive for East, as now it'll bring up 3rd and 5 from the 49. Out of the gun, Wilson. And he will hand that one off, but he's quickly stopped. Trying to get a look at who that was. It was Jaquan Close on the carry, but he went nowhere real fast as the Wildcats defense smothered him.
Yeah, 54 and 25 was there to make the play, and they really, Herbert Putnam, as well as Anthony Sykes, brought him down. It's going to be 4th down. They're going to punt, and look like they have a new punter in. Because the punter a couple weeks ago, I think he pulled his hamstring or something of that nature a couple weeks ago. So it looked like they have changed their punter as well.
And from up here, it looks like it's Kenny Wilson. Yeah, that's number 6, Kenny Wilson. Taking care of the punting, but we have a whistle for a stoppage of play. I suppose it'll be a repeat 4th down.
Yeah, I think you're right. Going to be a repeat of 4th down. Look like they're probably going to punt. It's 4th and 6. Early, still plenty of time. 6:09 to go in the first quarter. East offense has just got to get itself together. Are they going to be a running offense, or are they going to be a passing offense? Are they going to be an option offense, or are they going to be a straight ahead offense? They seem to still not have. Here we are, the 4th game of the season, and they don't have their identity as of yet, or what type of offense they want to be.
Right, I'm surprised. Are you surprised, George, we didn't see Deljon Johnson after the second run? Well, he had the big gain at first, and then the second one he didn't go too far, but still he picked up yardage. Are you surprised they didn't use him anymore on that drive?
Very surprising. He could have easily ran it on 3rd down. I mean, yeah, you're right. He had a big run, and they playing like a 4-3, a gap. It's a wide gap 4-3 D where, boy, you get in between the guard and tackles, you got room in there.
A high snap. It's caught by Wilson. He does kick it away, but he didn't get all of it. It takes a good bounce, though. And the Eagles will down it inside the 30-yard line. So still pretty good field position for the Wildcats coming up as they will take over with 5:59 remaining in this first quarter here at Ed Cavalier Stadium. So we haven't really seen the Wilson offense operate just yet. The score that they had was from a pick 6 if you're joining us late. So the quarterback Deshaun Dash completed a screen pass. They had a couple of running plays, but not too much before eventually they kicked it away. So now's another chance to see what they're made of here.
Yes, indeed. Another good drive start at their own 28-yard line, 29-yard line. Let's see what the Wildcats can do.
1st and 10, Dash with the handoff.
Nice
And
run.
up the middle they go. That's Daquan Hill for a gain of a few yards.
That was a nice run by Daquan. They're getting, I'll tell you, number 78 has to get going there. Bobby Seawright, the
For East, yeah.
East defensive tackle. He had a monster game last week. He really plugged up the middle a couple weeks ago against McQuaid, and he got to do the same thing today, or else it's going to be a long day for the East Eagles.
2nd and 6 with I formation. Dash with the handoff once again up the middle to Daquan Hill, but he's quickly brought down.
Yeah.
And a big stop there for the Eagles.
Very big stop. That was nice. They read the play, came in. He avoided the first tackler, but he was swarmed by the next 2 or 3 guys, and they brought him down.
That'll bring up 3rd and 8 from the 31. Deshaun Dash heading over to the sideline for the moment to speak to the coach and get instruction. We'll see what he told them, as Wilson's going to need a big play here to keep this drive going. So we're down to 4:23 remaining in this first quarter. And flags are thrown before the snap. What do we have?
Looked like an illegal motion here on the Wilson Wildcats.
False start on the offense, is the official call. Good catch, George, as that will only make the task of getting a first down here that much more difficult for Wilson, as that'll bring up 3rd and 13 now.
3rd and 13. Let's see what they're going to do. They're hurting themselves with penalties, the Wilson Wildcats. They're still undefeated, too. They're undefeated, and they still have McQuaid on their schedule as well. So they got a chance to be heard in this the Rochester City Athletic Conference, the RCAC. They really got a chance to be a major player and see who wins it.
4 wideouts for Dash on 3rd down. He looks downfield, and that one's going to be overthrown. It was intended for Jervon Johnson.
Yeah, that was a terrible throw by our quarterback there. He just threw that out of bounds, basically. Didn't give his guy a chance to come down with the football.
That's right. And you mentioned in the opening, George, how Wilson's going to have to use Jervon to the best of their advantage. They've tried a couple times. That's 2 passes intended for Johnson, but they haven't exactly been, on the money passes for him to make a play.
Not at all. Not at all. Hopefully they can come up here and start to make a difference here, make a play.
Jakir Moore on the field for Wilson to punt this one away. It'll be from the 26-yard line. It's 4th and 13. And a pretty good snap and a good punt by Moore. Fielded there at the 40. The ball's loose, and the Wildcats recover it.
Unbelievable. How do you try to pick the ball up on a punt? That's very bad play by Jalen Holmes. He's got to if he bobbles the ball or muffs it, jump on the ball. He muffed it, then he tried to actually pick it up.
And the ball was recovered by number 13, Keandre Rivers. So good awareness and good initiation by Rivers to go right to the receiver and come up with it after the missed up play by Jalen Holmes.
Exactly.
Jalen Holmes, sorry.
Jalen Holmes, yes. Once again, East. We talked in the pregame show about turnovers.
That's right. You specifically brought it up, George.
And here they go. Once again, making undisciplined turnovers.
So it'll be Wilson's ball from the East 38, 1st and 10. Dash will take it himself off the snap, but he's eventually brought down, and the ball comes out. Flags are down.
I think we're going to have a face mask.
East has recovered, but yes, it depends on what the call is going to be here.
I think we saw a face mask. I think all the referees saw it because the multiple flags came. I think they face masked on East, on the quarterback. He's a big guy. That quarterback's really big.
Yes.
It's almost like a linebacker playing quarterback for them. What's his name again?
Deshaun Dash,
Deshaun Dash. My bad, Deshaun. Deshaun Dash. He's a big fella, and it took some tussling, and I think we're going to have a face mask on East. I believe that's the call.
Here's the official call from the ref. It is, yes. I think he signaled face mask up to himself and then on the defense, so it will still be Wilson's ball.
Nice call by, it looked like our line judge, Andre Harper made that call, made a nice call on that one.
It's first and 12 it will be from the 40-yard line.
Nice call by line judge, and we looking here at the clock, or look like they're trying to figure out where the line of scrimmage is going to be.
The coaching staff wanted an explanation from the official, the Wilson coaching staff, I should say, but now it appears to be all square. And
yes, a 5-yard, looks to be a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run on that play.
3:20 to go in this first quarter. Dash back to pass, but he pump fakes and starts running himself. He maybe sprung forward for a gain of a yard, but he felt the pressure coming quickly.
Yes, he did. He was brought down. He definitely was brought down after a couple yards. Nice hustle, nice play by number 5. Number 5 made a nice tackle from East, Jalen Holmes. Jalen Holmes has been busy today. He's had a busy first quarter.
He's one of the guys we mentioned in the open who's going to need a big game if East is going to stand a chance here, but this will bring up 2nd and 11. Dash back to pass out of the gun. He goes way downfield to the end zone. Touchdown! That was complete to Ricky Gamble Jr.
Oh, my goodness. That looked very good. That looked like a college play right there. I mean, he dropped that ball. Dash held on to that ball until he was hit. He released the ball just as he was getting hit by the East defender. And, man, he was almost laying on the ground when that ball was completed. He threw a perfect strike right over the shoulder of the receiver, who you could tell they work out a lot because that was nice. Ricky Gamble Jr., once again, nice touchdown.
A 39-yard touchdown pass from Deshaun Dash to Ricky Gamble Jr. has the Wildcats up 12-0 momentarily, and Anthony Jubray Jr. will come up to kick the extra point.
That was a nice play.
And a bad snap, or Gamble gets the snap. He leaps it ahead, and it's complete for the 2-point conversion to Keandre Rivers.
Ricky Gamble Jr. having a great game, great first quarter. Has an interception return for a touchdown, offensive receiving touchdown, and now he just threw a 2-point conversion.
Honorable mention to Keandre Rivers as well. He recovers the fumble after the missed punt, and he gets the 2-point conversion there. So
there you go.
The special teams from the Wilson Wildcats coming through right now. What a drive by Wilson. And George, it goes back to our mention of turnovers. If East doesn't turn that ball over on the punt, Wilson doesn't have that field position, and they most likely are not in position like that to get that touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They wouldn't have been in position at all to get those points.
No way. And now they will get set to kick it back to East with 2:33 to go in this first quarter. A commanding 14-0 lead for the Wildcats over the Eagles. It will be Jakir Moore once again kicking it off. I wonder now if we'll see Kenny Wilson still at quarterback for East, if maybe the East coaching staff changes it up a bit just to kind of shake things up at this point, because East can't fall too behind early as it's fielded by Jalen Holmes, and he's brought down at about the 21-yard line.
Nice play. Holmes, East got to come on the field. See, they come on the field. They walking onto the field. That's a terrible sign. Boy, that coach, he really needs to light a fire, because this is the same thing they were doing against McQuaid. They walking on. You don't walk onto the field. You want to run out there and say, hey, I'm here to play football. I'm not here to walk onto the field. And guess what? That's why they losing too, because they're not getting aggressive and being aggressive enough.
I agree, George. Sometimes it's the little things, and it's showing your enthusiasm and your willingness to compete. As Here at 1st and 10 from the 21, we have a whistle before the snap. I was going to say my question has been answered as Kenny Wilson is still at QB for the Eagles. And we'll await formation after the whistle. And it's going to be a false start penalty on East, so that'll be a 5-yard penalty on the Eagles, and it'll now be 1st and 15
yes, a legal
from
procedure.
the 16.
Yeah, see, once again, that's where that walking onto the field comes about. You're not thinking about what you're going to do. You're just dragging. Don't care what's going on. You get out there to the line of scrimmage, and oh, yeah, that's right. What's the play? Boom, somebody moves.
The snap to Wilson and the handoff to Johnson. He spurts himself forward and gains about 4 yards on that run.
There's your guy Johnson. As a matter of fact, you made a good point. He should have been given that ball after he broke it for like 5-6 yards. He should have been at least given the ball one more time in that previous drive. At least the opportunity to garner the first down at least.
That's right. As there he picks up 3 yards to bring up 2nd and 12. At this point, I feel like it's whatever East can do to move the ball. They've got to do more of that.
Right. Whatever's working. It has to be working.
Wilson from the gun on 2nd and 12 as we're down to 1:45 to go in this opening quarter. The snap, the fake to Johnson, and Wilson will take it himself up the right side, but he's quickly brought down. I'm not sure if he even passed the line of scrimmage on that one.
No, it looked like he was brought down right at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. See what they're going to do unless we have a penalty. Maybe see the referees. Yeah, it looked like it was a penalty. Or no, maybe you just want to talk to the
Bobby
players
Seawright
about extracurricular. Maybe they're doing a lot of talking out there on the field.
Yeah, Bobby Seawright for East and Herbert Putman for Wilson both having discussions with the officials.
Yeah, it looked like the referee was laying down the law there, saying, hey, he's not going to tolerate whatever's being said out there on the field, because we're sure not seeing it in action. I don't see a lot of physical play going on out there, so it must be a lot of woofing out there, as we used to call it.
3rd and 10 from the 22 as we're down to a minute remaining in the first quarter. Wilson takes the snap, runs to the left, throws it intended for Freddie Brock. It's incomplete, and there's going to be a penalty.
That's a bad call by the line judge over there. I don't know why he's going to throw a flag on number 6. Number 6 just was a continuation of the play. He hit the receiver, but he didn't hit him. He didn't cheap shot him. He hit him in his shoulder pads, and that's football. You can't take the hitting out of football, else it'll be flag football, right? I mean, gosh, the guy, he didn't know the guy wasn't going to catch the ball, which the ball should have been caught, by the way.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think maybe the referee deemed that the ball was already incomplete and Smith had plenty of time to know that it was incomplete? Or
No, because Smith was running across the field to get over there to make the play. So by the time, you can't stop when you're running full speed. And just because the ball went through the hands of the receiver, he's not going to be able to. Number 6 would not have been able to see that.
Right.
And he didn't really hit him that hard. He gave him a shove. He did hit him, but it wasn't a.
There were multiple flags on the play. I believe East was flagged for holding. So that will bring up. Still, I think it'll be a repeat 3rd down for East. So they will get another crack at keeping this drive going.
Yeah, he will. Wow.
They march off both fouls because one's live ball, one's dead
It's
ball.
down to 50. We're inside a minute remaining in this first quarter. Might we say the stands have done a nice job filling up here at Ed Cavalier Stadium. It took a while for people to get here. Maybe the early start kind of threw
exactly
them off,
the traffic downtown and things like that. You had a 10-yard mark off for holding, and then they turned around and marched off the dead ball foul. 2nd, which was against Wilson. So after all that marching up and down the field, it's going to be 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5 from the 22. Let's see what Kenny Wilson's got up his sleeve to keep this ball moving. And here's the pass, and it's complete over the middle to Malik McCray, and that is enough for the first down.
Nice play by Malik McCray. He sat down in the zone and made the nice catch and went down to the ground. Next time, hopefully, he might be able to catch it and be able to still be running.
Baby steps, George. They completed a pass and got a first down finally. So
yes, indeed.
That's definitely something to be proud of if you're East. But it's all about where they go from here, as we're in the dying seconds of this opening quarter. They're trying to get a few more plays off.
Mm-hmm.
First and 10 from the 36. Out of the gun, Wilson. He's got runners in motion. That's a handoff to Freddie Brock. He's up the right side. Took a shot, but stayed on his feet and picked up a good gain there.
Mm-hmm.
That will take us to the end of the first quarter here at Ed Cavalier Stadium. It is the Wilson Wildcats on top of the East High Eagles by a score of 14-0. A pick six, and then a large 39-yard touchdown pass by Deshaun Dash to Ricky Gamble Jr. are the two scoring plays thus far in the contest.
Guy was throwing a water bottle there, hit his teammate in the helmet there with the water bottle as it is pretty hot out there. You got to stay conditioned, dehydrated.
That's right.
You got to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Hydrated. You don't want to get dehydrated.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 4 for East High once we get up and going here.
Okay, so we're changing sides of the field. Okay.
That's right, as usual. Well, while we got a minute here, George, why don't we kind of review what we talked about in the opening? You know, you had mentioned turnovers for East High and, you know, that sort of thing in order to compete in this game. Is it safe to say that so far they haven't listened to you and done that?
No, they have not. Sad to say they didn't listen to any of the – I haven't been able to check off any of the bullet points from from our pregame show. Boy, they really got to get together here. They have a first down. It's going to be 2nd and 4 yards to begin the second quarter. So they got a good drive start. They're still in the game. They can afford to run the ball. They can run it to the big guy. I'll give that ball to the big guy a little bit. Let him run a little bit.
2nd and 4 from their own 42. Wilson the snap and the handoff to Johnson. He loses the football, and it may have been recovered by Wilson.
Wow.
And it is. We got the official signal, and the Wildcats pick up the ball, and right on cue when we say to give the ball to Johnson, he fumbles it away, and it's a turnover once again for East High.
It continues to rain on East High for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but number 8 picked that one up. Jameer James recovered the fumble. We saw the ball pop loose. Looked like he might not have never had the handoff properly, because he went into the. As soon as he made contact, we saw the ball.
Right, he was bobbling it right off the bat. So
Mm-hmm.
something tells me that he didn't have it completely. As this will give Wilson's offense another opportunity on the field here. I'm interested to see what Deshaun Dash has here and what kind of play calls we see after that big 39-yard pass he had in the first quarter.
Absolutely.
I formation, 1st and 10 from the East 45. It's a handoff.
Oh,
and
put him down.
Not sure if a pickoff at all. Yeah, maybe a loss of a yard there, as it was Daquan Hill on the carry for Wilson.
Even got his mouthpiece knocked out on that play. But you better keep that mouthpiece in, because that's a very important piece of equipment.
Yes, and in a world where concussions seem to be happening more than ever, it's imperative that you are always have your mouth guard in its place.
Definitely.
This will bring up 2nd and 10 from the 45 here, as the second quarter just got underway a moment ago. It's 14-0 in favor of Wilson if you're just joining us. And here's Dash on the handoff. He runs in and he fumbles the ball. And now East has recovered it, it looks like. Yes.
Nice recovery there by East. Nice hit. Number 7 picked up the fumble.
Yeah, Chris Washington picking up that loose ball. As what happened on that play, George, is Deshaun Dash collided with Daquan Hill. Bit of miscommunication on that play.
There you go. Can't do that. And the young man better pick his helmet up before he get another penalty. Get a penalty, number 9, because he seemed to be disgusted by what took place. And he's carrying his mouthpiece. He needs to tie his mouthpiece onto his face mask so that it won't keep coming out either. That's another thing the young man needs to work on.
Not making your coaching staff happy by turning the ball over on a play like that, but this is an opportunity for East to pounce on the attack, as it'll be first down and 10 from about the 43-yard line.
Yeah, 43.
And we've got a whistle.
Timeout by East.
Yeah, timeout called by East. As the coaching staff must not have seen not seen what he liked in that case. We mentioned in the opening the Wilson Wildcats enjoying a good start to the season thus far with a 2-0 record. East cannot say the same, as they've fallen in both of their first two games, leaving their record at 0-2. George and I were on the call for the game a couple weeks ago right here at Ed Cavalier Stadium, where they lost to Churchville Chili, and it hasn't been a good start thus far in the game for them, but the game is still young. 11:02 to go in this second quarter, but the Wildcats have brought it, and East has turned the ball over a couple times, but most recently Wilson has turned the ball over, and East is looking to take advantage of that, as now they appear set to go after the timeout and look to take advantage. As it'll still be first and 10 from the 44, as with the timeout, obviously no change in possession of the ball, no change in the spot. As it'll be Kenny Wilson out of the gun once again. Freddie Brock is the man in motion, and he gets the handoff. Brock down the left wing side, and he's out of bounds inside the 40-yard line.
Ball on the 39.
Ball will be placed on the 39-yard line for East, and it'll bring up second down.
Long 5.
Two wide outs on 2nd and 5. As Wilson once again out of the gun. A good snap and a handoff up the middle, as it was taken there for no gain, and I believe that was Jaquan Close once again on the carry. He's gotten a couple handoffs thus far in the game, but hasn't picked up many yards, and in this case it's going to be no gain, which will bring up 3rd and 5 from the 39-yard line once again. I wonder if in a situation like this, if East does not pick up the first down on this play, if maybe they take a risk and go for it, just to kind of pick up some momentum and sway things in their direction. But obviously that can't be on their mind now, as they're obviously going to look to convert here on 3rd and 5. And a bad snap. It's beyond Wilson. Was he able to come up with it? I believe he was. So East does not turn the ball over, but it will bring up 4th and long at the 49-yard line. So
yeah, we have some sloppy play out here. Oh my goodness!
Ball,
every time we look up, the ball's going the other way, man. Oh my goodness, boy, we got one here today.
And a golden opportunity, I would call it, for East to pick up a first down there with only 5 yards to go, but they are unsuccessful once again.
Yeah, it's a shame. Good field position. Good drive start from the Wilson turnover, and unfortunately, East was not able to do anything with it. Oh, that's a nice punt by this young man. He's a nice sidewinder.
Fielded inside the 20 by Jakir Moore, and he makes a couple of nice moves and is brought down at the 36-yard line. So a good return for Wilson, and that's where they will get the ball.
Very nice play. Very nice play there. East punting team is doing a good job this week. They're getting the ball down low enough, quick enough to the ground so that they can their defenders have enough time to get down the field. But now they need to capitalize on these turnovers. They need another turnover. They need to get this ball back into their hands so that they could, or get a defensive score to get back into the game.
Any of those, I'm sure East would not be picky. They just want something to sway in their direction. But Wilson has done a pretty good job offensively, except for the last time they were up with the miscommunication by Dash and Wilson. And here's the handoff up the middle to Desi Floyd Jr. He picks up a good gain and
nice
has
run.
enough for the first down, I believe.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. One of these teams is going to have to continue to run the ball to force their will on the other team. And East needs to do that with their running backs. Continue to run the ball. Wilson's doing a fine job of starting to mix it up. And their coach is realizing that, hey, it's a hot day. You run that ball. You're able to get garner some openings and wear down your other team's defensive unit.
A couple more plays like that by Wilson, and they'll really be taking it to East.
Yes.
As I think that was the first time we've seen Desi Floyd Jr. get a handoff today, and wow, quite the first handoff to get as he picked up 9.
Yes, he has good footwork. He has ups, and the young man definitely knows how. If he continues this way, third or fourth quarter, we'll see him breaking one for possibly a touchdown.
My apologies. It was a late change. He actually picked up the first down. And here on 1st and 10, it's another handoff to Daquan Hill. And he has himself a first down.
Wow, he's a little small guy, but, man, he really very dangerous, very dangerous. He had a nice spin move there to the outside. East wasn't able to bring him down until he picked up the first down. Nice blocking up front. Wilson's front line is starting to get comfortable with their blocking assignments. They're looking more fluid. They're looking more comfortable coming off the ball. So I think they're starting to get into their type of play.
I think that's a really good point, George. Back-to-back plays, the backs pick up 10 yards each. So I think a good chunk of that is because of the work put in by the offensive line for sure.
Oh, definitely.
And this will bring up 1st and 10 from the 43. Deshaun Dash back to pass. He's got a man downfield, and it's just incomplete. Intended for Kajana Smith. It was in his grasp, but he just lost it on the latter part of the play, and it looked like he was neck and neck with the defensive back on that play, and then he all of a sudden just kind of sprung away and got toward the ball and had the room to make a play, but just came up short.
Just came up short because he came up with separation there at the end, and boy, the ball I know he wants that one back because that ball hit his hands and should have been caught. Same way Zay Jones should have caught that ball last Sunday for the Bills. Same kind of play. You turn and put yourself in position to make the play. Then the most important thing is then making the play.
And in a similar spot on the field, too, where you're mentioning the Zay Jones play in Carolina last Sunday at the Bills game. But how about Deshaun Dash? We talked about him being a bigger guy, but, man, can he throw it? He hands it off on 2nd and 10, and a pickup of about a yard there for Wilson.
He has an interesting throwing motion, and yes, indeed, you're absolutely right. You made a good point about the quarterback. He's very accurate. He gets the ball. It's an interesting move the way he throws it, but he throws it accurately, and that's all you ask in a quarterback. You want him to throw that ball accurately.
Be interesting to see, George, especially because Wilson has quite the lead build right now. If the coaching staff maybe puts their trust in Deshaun and says, hey, why don't we air out a couple more as this game goes on, because he's got the arm strength, he's completed passes, and in some cases it's just his receivers not making the catches, so it's not necessarily his fault on the ones that have been incomplete. But we'll see what they call here on 3rd and 8 from the 41. Back to throw.
Blitz.
Over the middle. It's complete to Jervon Johnson, and a first down once again for Wilson. And there's your guy, George Johnson, right over the middle.
Right over the middle. They came with a safety blitz. Number 32 for East was blitzing from the outside. He got to the quarterback just a little too late, and that gave one-on-one coverage for the Wilson receivers. And the Wilson receivers are very dangerous. You don't want to get caught covering them one-on-one, especially going across the field as that happened on that particular play. He easily beat his man and was able to and once again the throw was right there. The throw was on the money. Receiver made a nice catch, and Wilson's back in business once again. First down at the East 24-yard line.
The composure
Wilson just
by
called timeout as well.
Deshaun Dash to see that blitz coming and not get puzzled by it and be able to deliver that right over the middle to Johnson is very impressive. And yeah, I'm not sure why the timeout was called there by Wilson.
Yeah.
They seem it's not often you see teams if they're going and they've got a good flow moving. I don't know why they would, slow down their momentum here, but I guess the coaching staff really needed to have a word with his team.
Exactly. And I'll tell you. Oh, okay. Thank you.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 24 with 6:09 remaining in this second quarter. As the coaches will make their way back to the sidelines and the players will get themselves to the line of scrimmage for the play at hand. Deshaun Dash has been moving the ball well for his Wildcat team as there he pitches it across to Hill. Daquan Hill down the left side, still on his feet inside the 15 and eventually out of bounds just before the 10-yard line.
I'm impressed with the young man's footwork. The young man has some very nice footwork. We got a flag for Wolfen out there. It looked like number 51 and number 11 got tangled up, and I just think the ref shouldn't have called a foul. Once again, I think the referee was a little bit – nobody threw a punch or anything. The matter of fact, the Wilson guy had grabbed his player and pushed him back toward the huddle, so I don't think the referee should have even said anything about that. That shouldn't even been a call.
Perhaps he's maybe afraid of it escalating to things even worse later on, but and it's going to be holding on Wilson. And they will be flagged again, yeah.
Was he thrown out the game? He was not thrown out.
No, he wasn't thrown out, but
because it's on Wilson, so maybe I missed maybe he did do something else.
You got a 10-yard holding and a 15-yard unsponsored.
Oh, 10-yard holding and a 15-yard penalty. So that's a 25-yard penalty for Wilson, and boy, that hurts. It's hard to recoup from a 25-yard penalty.
This might be an appropriate time if you're the Wilson coaching staff. Tell your players, we've got a good lead here. Don't talk to the other guys. Just play your game and leave it at that, because you can't be costing your team with these kinds of penalties, because it's not gonna help you in the long run.
And also for our video audience out there, we're streaming live on YouTube. So check us out at www.rcsdk12.org. So you can streaming live on YouTube. So check us out there as well.
And we'd also like to thank the East High School Media Team. It's all students from East High who are helping us out with today's production, running cameras and everything. As here's Deshaun Dash getting away from pressure, but only momentarily, as he's eventually brought down for the sack. That'll bring up 2nd down, and I think it'll be 2nd and 36 now as opposed to 34.
Right.
So, yes, sorry, George, just want to finish off that statement there. Big thank you once again to all the East High students for helping us with today's broadcast. You guys are doing phenomenal work, and we really appreciate it, and we hope you'll be back for the rest of the games that we have throughout the season.
And the funny thing is, you don't know how far this work will go. I mean, you're starting off here today doing games, and next thing you know, like, for example, the people that worked the game 2 weeks ago, we had at halftime, we had George Fontenette came up. He was a former football player here in Section 5 back in the 60s. He talked about how it was in the 60s and playing football and for Madison High School at that time. But now this week, and his son went on to play at Syracuse University and everything as well. Andre Fontenette, who's the assistant coach with McQuaid now. But to make a long story short, George Fontenette is down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because that's where he's from. He's at his brother's house, and he's going to be going to see Syracuse play at LSU tonight down in Death Valley tonight. So he's going to that game live.
Very nice.
And he called me earlier yesterday, and he was showing the game. He ended up showing the entire game of the McQuaid East High School game to his cousins and relatives down there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So you just don't realize how far by doing something this, you think, oh, is this here in Rochester? But you'd be surprised who people all over the country, and now with the internet and everything, people somewhere all over the world could see your work as a cameraman or a producer of the program.
You're exactly right, George. And if you're into that stuff, if you want to get into media, if you want to be a broadcaster, you want to be a cameraman, whatever, what better way to go into college than say you already have experience with that kind of work. So if you're a student at East High who's listening right now and you want to get involved, get in touch with Todd Hall from the Rochester City Sports District, and he can get you going and get you up here for a game so you can help out as well and start building your resume as early as possible.
Exactly. No time like now for the future.
That's right. As it seems that we have everything sorted out for the time being, it'll be 2nd and 36 from the 48-yard line. That's Wilson's 48-yard line. As we'll remind you there, the big penalty trouble they had earlier on in this drive is why they're this far back when they were approaching the red zone. Actually, we're in the red zone for the time being.
They certainly were.
But 2nd down, and here is Dash on the snap. The throw is complete, but Kajana Smith had nowhere to go, and I don't believe he picked up any yards on that play.
If the quarterback number 15, if he slims down a little bit, he could have potential at the next level, which would be college. Maybe not Division I, but Division II or III. He could be a decent because he has a nice arm.
I was just going to say,
he has a good technique too. He has good technique of how his footwork and everything.
I was going to say, he definitely has a pretty good base already with his arm strength and his accuracy.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, as we're down to 3rd and 36 with 4:20 to go in the second quarter. Let's see what Dash has in store for us here. He throws it over the middle,
nice catch.
And it's caught by Kajana Smith, and a nice move to pick up some extra yards, and he's eventually brought down at the 38-yard line.
Boy, this guy, they're exciting players to watch here. Man, this Kajana Smith, man, he did almost a 360 on that guy, made him miss. And these guys, you get the Wilson receivers in open space. They're very dangerous, and I definitely look forward to seeing Wilson play McQuaid. I wouldn't mind. I think I'll probably go to that game and see that, because that would be a really good matchup this season. Because both of them are doing very well. I went to McQuaid last night, saw them play Edison, an undefeated Edison team, and man, they just ran them off the field. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Ended up being 41-0. McQuaid victory last night over Edison Tech. And once again, Edison Tech did have turnovers.
4th and 23, the punting unit is on, and Jakir Moore is going to take it himself. He sheds a tackle.
Oh, wow. He's
inside
make the first down.
30.
Look at the moves here.
I think he's going to be just short.
Is he short? He is. I'm looking at the wrong marker.
Yeah,
the second one.
The first one was the second one beyond it, but what a run there by Jakir Moore. The snap was high, so maybe he figured at that point he didn't want to take a risk of.
We're going to have a holding call on Wilson here. They're going to bring it
okay.
back. It's all for naught, but a very good run.
A heads-up play by Jakir Moore as well. As there you get the official holding call on Wilson that'll bring up a repeat of 4th down. But what an effort. Good awareness by Moore to realize that the punt was probably at risk of being blocked, so why not take it and take my chances of getting a first down here, and he nearly had it.
He did.
It's a shame that it would have been called back because of the penalty, but still a good effort, as you mentioned, George.
A lot of mistakes here by Wilson. You can't afford this against the better teams in Section 5 and also better teams in the Rochester City Athletic Conference. You can't afford these many turnovers. These kind of penalties.
Moore will punt it away this time, and it's fielded by East. That's Freddie Brock, I believe, picking it up.
Yeah, that's our guy, Freddie. Steady Freddie. He's a steady guy. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. East really need to get the ball in his hands more often, because he seems to be able to make plays. Good things happen for East football when the ball's in at Freddie Brock's hands so far this season.
We'll see what happens now. It'll be 1st and 10 for East from their own 30-yard line with 2:56 remaining in the first half.
Yes.
And East would love nothing more than to at least put some points on the board before this half is over, because they will be receiving the ball in the third quarter.
That's right. You're absolutely right. They will be receiving the ball, so this is big. This is a good chance to hopefully get down and try to get a score. Hope for them to get back into the game.
Out of the snap. The throw over the middle is complete. Or no, now it's incomplete.
No, he's down.
Yeah.
It's caught and it's
okay, so they are going to say it's a completion, but
yes.
Yeah.
Picked up looked like a 5-yard gain.
I'm trying to get a look at. I couldn't tell if it was Kenny Wilson in at QB or if Jatavion James Simmons came into the game, but those numbers, George, are backfiring again.
Yeah.
Once again for us. The sun is not helping us in this case.
Not at this end of the field at all. Hard to tell.
And yeah, that is Jatavion James Simmons. Thank you to the work from our camera crew. As a quick handoff there to Jaquan Close that goes nowhere.
Going to be 3rd and 5.
Or my apologies, it might be Anthony Gilbert in at QB. Wow, this is the biggest mystery. I'm driving myself nuts with it.
Because the quarterback is not standing at the front. Oh, there he is. He is standing toward the front. Number 10. Number 10. Who is that?
Okay, that's Anthony Gilbert. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Anthony Gilbert is in at QB for East, the freshman quarterback.
There you go.
That's asking a lot of a freshman, but let's see if he can be the savior here. It's 3rd and 9 from the 31. He goes over the middle.
Oh, nice
it's complete. Right on cue. That's complete to Jalen Holmes, and Anthony Gilbert contributes to picking up a first down for the Eagles.
It was a nice move because him and Ricky Gamble were hand checking each other, and he was able to get his hand off of him just in time to make the catch. Nice play by Jalen Holmes.
And a great throw by Gilbert indeed, as it'll bring up 1st and 10 from Wilson's 49-yard line, as this is exactly what the doctor ordered for East, but they need to establish consistency. Out of the gun, Gilbert over the middle again. Nice. It's complete to Freddie Brock.
Yeah, he's gone.
Brock is inside the 30 and down at the 20-yard line.
Freddie Brock, I'm telling you, get the ball to Freddie Brock.
What did you call him? Steady Freddie?
Steady
there
Freddie.
We go.
Steady Freddie is on the scene now. He's making plays. And the most importantly thing, with Gilbert in that quarterback, he's able to get the ball over to Freddie Brock. The previous quarterback was unable to do that.
No, not at all.
Oh, we got number 4 left early for East.
Oh, so it's going to be a false start?
Yeah, on what's number 4 there?
Josiah Porche.
Yeah, he didn't pay attention to the snap count. He forgot the snap count.
But my, oh my, what a couple of first plays by Anthony Gilbert, the young freshman QB for this East High Eagles team. The first few plays of his drive, he picks up more yards than East has had all game.
Wow.
And, I mean, maybe that's a sign of new life for the Eagles as we're down to 50 seconds remaining in this second quarter. It's 1st and 15 from the 25-yard line after the penalty, so we'll see what Gilbert has in store. Out of the gun. He steps back. Looks down the right side, and it's going to be overthrown, or sorry, down the middle, as that was intended for Josiah Porche. And that'll bring up 2nd down with 36 seconds remaining. They will need a big play here, as it looks like the whole team will head off to the sideline to discuss with Coach.
Yeah, this is important. 36 seconds, and you got one timeout. You're at the 25-yard line. You got plenty of time. Plenty of time to make something happen.
Exactly. They definitely have something to work with in that regard. Like we said, George, at the beginning of the drive, the any points in this case would be fantastic if you're East. You just got to get on the board and got to break that ice first and foremost, and then you go from there once the second half starts. But, geez, at least get a field goal in this case.
At least a field. You don't want to go into the halftime with no score on the board for you. You want to at least get something something positive that you can come out, you can talk about during halftime. Get out of this hot air, and even though it's a little cool, it's a nice breeze blowing today, but it's still down in that turf is very hot. And then Charlotte, for example, last time, boy, it was so hot. I mean, 86 degrees. Nobody was outside from noon until 4 o'clock, until 5. People start coming out. You start seeing people come out around 5
right.
with that sun starting to set. Because, man, that
can't imagine how much worse it is down there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that humidity is something
Second
else.
and 15. Gilbert back to pass. The pressure comes, and he goes down.
He took a shot. That's a freshman for you. He didn't. For some reason, he did not feel the pressure.
Desi Floyd Jr., I think, will get the majority credit for the sack, but many others were in on that pass rush as well for Wilson. But either way,
you got to get rid of the ball. I mean, one guy came right in front of him. I mean, man, the guy coming right in front of you, you got to tuck the ball and try to get away or throw it away. One or the other. In this case, he should have threw it away because it's only 25 seconds left in the half. Get the ball out of bounds.
So this will be 3rd and 25 from the 35-yard line as we're down to 25 seconds remaining in the first half. And East taking their time to plan this out and try and get the right play, but it's not going to be easy, especially if Wilson's bringing that kind of pass rush.
Absolutely. And the quarterback got watched. He gave up 10 yards on that play. That was huge. That was a huge loss for him, for East. But those are the growing pains when you're playing a freshman quarterback.
That's right.
Yeah, they're going to make mistakes.
I imagine if the play is dead after this play here, they will go for it on 4th down and take their chances because it doesn't seem like they're surrendering bad field position or good field position for Wilson, but we'll take it one play at a time here as Gilbert will once again step into the pocket. The snap, and he goes back. The pass rush is coming. He airs it out, and it's to nobody. As somebody didn't run their route correctly on that play.
Freddie Brock cut down the middle. I don't know if he thought Freddie was going to go to the flag, but he went right to the middle of the field.
So this should bring up 4th down here for East. And that ate up about 4 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, he had more time. He didn't, and he kind of rushed that throw.
The pass rush was coming, so.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. Out of the gun. Gilbert looks to his right, to the end zone for Brock, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Ricky Gamble Jr., and he will step out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
Smart play by Wilson. They double-teamed Freddie Brock on that play. They realized he's their go-to guy. Double-teamed him, and the quarterback had to throw a Hail Mary because he was just getting hit as he was throwing the ball. So as you said on before, he had to get that pressure was there. He had to get rid of the ball, and unfortunately it was intercepted. And Wilson can kneel it down and call it a half.
Some pretty good arm strength there by Anthony Gilbert on that throw, but unfortunately with nothing doing because Ricky Gamble Jr. was in the right spot to pick that one off, and it looks like, Wilson is going to knee it, would you say, George, just to get this to the half?
They should.
Yeah. And there you have it. That'll take us to the conclusion of this first half here at Ed Cavaliers Stadium. George Radney, I'm Matt Stathopoulos. We're glad you've joined us. It's 14-0 for the Wilson Wildcats. We will be back with some messages from our sponsors. We'll hope you'll join us for the second half. It's coming up next. You too, George.
I can't get the timeouts to work. Nobody looks anyway. Home team timeout 3. Well, it's not registering.
Oh, sorry about that. He told me Ed Cavalier Stadium.
Yo, but come on, Booty. That's why you got beat up. Trying to fight for the agent. Right, I'm good.
Yo, Tootie, you heard of that? So I got beat up trying to fight for the Asian.
I got the video.
Come.
The move. Take your cut with you.
Put down. Put that on.
What, not this one? That's the secondary, bro. Come on, Tootie. Yeah, what's good, nigga?
I did have 14 tackles. I'm not going to I didn't have 9 football. I was just in the boots to make it look good.
Yo, you should let me on that back play.
Come to the next game, man.
You ankle biting. What? Hey, you ankle biting Tory. You ankle biting Tory like a fan, though. You tried to flex for it. You tried to flex for it. That was ankle. And you tried to button. I don't appreciate that. You tried to button. You tried to button. Oh, yeah, where Mike at? I'm about to ask you. Yo, Jaleel, what's that rock?
After next Saturday, where Mo at? After McQuaid, somebody cool.
Nah, y'all got a mess with rehab, though. Because rehab 42, y'all got a mess. Yeah, 42, y'all got a mess. When I rolled out. Yeah. Remember that play? Remember that play where what time that East start? Yo, bro, you like you brought that back play. You brought that back play. You can play for 13 teams. We the best.
How you know how you got out of phone back?
But you put all you put like that.
Oh. I got 2 of them.
Let me get that. Yo, you got 2 phones? Let me borrow one.
On the practice, on the practice, on the other ball.
I'll give you money.
Still one of them.
I ain't even bought money one game.
I'm bought it so I can run.
Yo, you had a one game. Mondo tried to violate it. Mondo tried to violate it. Wait, we started saying, hold on. Shut up. I was checking. Shut up.
Oh, that's the biggest game in the season. Yeah, this game trash. Now we about to be right there.
Yeah, what color the practice?
Same color.
Yeah, he had a nice little.
I got a gold.
Gold lost like 85.
I got the gold. I got a question for you. I'm not even trying to be funny though like that.
I got 2 color fives.
My son didn't catch a body though.
All I do is go on even.
That's funny.
Everything's on even.
I got a question. When Tory juked you, what was going through your head? fought because he jumped in the air. And Tory did something. He did that little. Tory juked him and then stiff armed the other one did the same round that he juked to him, stiff armed the one over there and kept running. Touchdown, they quick pass, interception. But that was he was the first one who got this. The last he could have had that kick return. That's 100. And that kick return, I could have ran that big fast. Nah, but I got a big question though. Why was y'all so hostile? Y'all was trying to really pop on that and why Eddie, tell her she's gonna lose her money. She's gonna lose her money. The lady right there. She's gonna lose her money. Her money. Her money. Wanda said that? We had to. Wanda was doing that all week. Mo was firing him off our coach. Now we better not look for no baby. What he said? He said 6'9". I gotta change with some team that's nice. Set up east, but you thinking I left? You thinking I left the business? I have my reasons. I didn't have no choice where I was. I did not have no choice. I'm not letting me out of trouble. She's not letting me out of trouble. And she did not let me go. She said if it eats 58, she was like, no, not going to. He didn't have nobody off the return. Yeah, Andre got number 2. Everybody in the varsity team is going to be there our senior year. Tori's going to be here. Tori's going to be here. I'm going to be here. Dad's going to be here. Dad's going to be here. Tina sophomore. 14 sophomore. 15 sophomore. Who else is sophomore? Who else is sophomore? Y'all talking about y'all got a young varsity team. They do too. We got really that much years on our team. Number 1, that's his team. That's his junior. Ricky is junior. Owen is junior. And is junior. Who else is junior? That's a sophomore. You're a sophomore. Stone is junior. Y'all think about it. Y'all match up with us age-wise. Y'all probably got more older kids on your team. I swear to God, y'all don't. Mo. What's up, son? You ain't somebody shooting. You ain't one of y'all trying to. You see me, right?
You know it before you even
that wasn't technical. Y'all left Raekwon at the building, though. Y'all stayed. Y'all go to Raekwon, y'all was gonna give him a ride. Y'all want him at the building. Raekwon was like, nah, bro.
Y'all got your tickets out? Anybody look at your tickets?
I probably got 2.
not even that many seniors on our team. The only seniors on our team is DeAndre is senior, number 13 is senior, Drake, Caleb is senior, number 75, Juan is senior, 24. Senior Anthony is senior, Kyle is senior.
Welcome back here to East High School. It is 14-0 in favor of the Wilson Wildcats. My name is Matt Stathopoulos. I'm joined by George Radney. Well, George, coming into this game, we talked about East and trying to prevent turnovers and whatnot and trying to move the ball in any way they can. It hasn't worked out as well as they had hoped. Not well at all, I should say. But more importantly, you know, Wilson, from their standpoint, they've taken advantage of some great looks and made some great plays. And in the beginning, you know, we talked about how Wilson coming into this game 2-0, East 0-2, to not be surprised by this sort of outcome. But do you feel like that there's still a lot of work or there is still room and ways that East can get themselves back into this game?
Oh, definitely. They got to, once again, cut back on the turnovers. They got to go no turnovers this second half. They really need to continue to drive the ball down the field and be able to drive it in a proper fashion with some good running games, some good running plays. They need to really run the ball to be effective in this second half of the contest.
Now, their quarterback, most recent quarterback, I should say, Anthony Gilbert, was brought in at the end of that second quarter. He had 2 back-to-back passes in a row that gained a lot of yards for his team. Do you think that we'll be seeing him out there for the bulk of this second half?
Oh, he better, yeah. If the coach is smart about Gilbert is the best option for East today. He's just learning. He's a freshman, so it's work in progress. He has to learn how to feel the pressure, get rid of that ball, and get it downfield.
All right, well, we're underway for the third quarter. The kickoff is fielded there by East.
Freddie Brock.
Yes.
On the return.
Steady Freddie.
Yes,
on
indeed.
that return, getting the ball to about the 36-yard line, and that's where East will take over.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Excellent drive start. Let's see what East is going to do from their own 36.
They won the coin toss before the game and elected to kick in the first half, so that's why they are receiving the ball now for those of you who just might be joining us. And indeed it is Anthony Gilbert in at quarterback once again for East. And I like this decision by the coaching staff. Anthony, despite getting pressured and getting sacked those last couple times at the end of the half, he still made some good plays beforehand. As here it's 1st and 10 from the 37.
There you go.
A handoff to Freddie Brock.
Stood right up. Flags coming in.
And yeah, the flags appeared to be after the play.
See what they're talking about. Couldn't tell if it's holding or.
Yeah, it was tough at that point. So here we'll get a look at the head official. It'll be face masking.
Oh, face mask.
A 5-yard penalty for face masking on Wilson, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Or my apologies, a repeat of 1st down because they accepted the penalty, of course. So it'll be 1st and 4 from the 43. Gilbert out of the gun, another handoff to Brock. And he's brought down rather quickly once again.
Look like a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and 3-yard gain. Look like it's going to be 3rd and 2. That was a nice run. Just a good play to give it to the big guy, that fullback, and see if he can muscle his way in for the 1st down. And if not, I would start looking at 4th down territory and going for it on 4th down from this. Even though you're almost at midfield, you're still in your own territory. I think they really need to show that they want to play.
Right. At this point, they've got to start going for it if they're going to have, any say in getting back into this. So I would agree with that as well, George, as we'll see what they have here on 2nd and 2. Gilbert with another handoff, and they've got enough for the first down. It's going to be Jaquan Close
He got slammed.
picking up the first.
Boy, I tell you, he picked up the first down, but boy, he paid the price for picking that up first down. They abruptly threw him backwards, but he did his initial run, picked up the first down. First and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Here we go. That's good. It looked like they might have found something in between the tackles. Go behind that Bobby Seawright. He's 320 pounds. Hey, go behind that kid.
Bobby Seawright playing on both ends of the line, on offense and on defense as well. You mentioned earlier that he did a great job the last game that he's played of clogging up that middle, stopping the opposing running game.
Yes, indeed.
Gilbert back to pass. He's got a man. It's up in the air and eventually caught. It's caught by Freddie Brock, and he's eventually forced out of bounds at the 47-yard line, I believe. So, but either way, a pretty big gain there for East.
43, down to the 43-yard line.
To bring up 2nd down.
2nd and 3. Nice play. Nice play by Freddie Brock. Glad they're trying to get the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Oh, they certainly have on this drive.
You got Jalen Holmes over here on the near side. He's another option for him.
Good awareness by Freddie Brock on that play as well, because the ball had like popped up into the air, but he still maintained his composure and kept his eye on it and was able to come down with it. And here's a handoff to Brock. He goes up the middle, but was eventually knocked to the side and is not going to pick up any yardage on that one, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Down to 9:32 remaining in this third quarter. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it's always risky, and it's not always the easiest thing to do to put the ball in the air and try and develop a passing game. But the more East runs the ball, the more the clock runs down. And they're the ones who are playing against the clock right now. They've got to get back into this game. So we'll see if they eventually take a risk and maybe try and pass the ball more often to at least get that yardages. Here's another handoff to Freddie Brock, and he has enough for the first as he went all the way over to the sidelines down the left side and
picked up the first down.
Eventually found a hole to pick up the first. Yeah,
they're moving. They're moving the ball. They're finding something with this running game. That's nice. That was a nice move there. I like how they formation, and they're not holding. See, the key is no penalties. We can't afford a penalty. Let's keep on moving. Come on, East. Let's see what you can do with no mistakes. Let's see what they're going to do. Same formations. See if they're going to run it to our side of the field.
3 wide receivers out of the gun for Anthony Gilbert. And he steps back. He looks to his right. It's deflected and incomplete, intended for Jalen Holmes.
Dangerous pass.
I think it was pretty accurate, though. It looked like it hit Holmes in the hands at the very least.
It did.
Yeah, just
dangerous in the sense that if he didn't make the play, which what happened, 9 times out of 10, that's intercepted.
Right. Especially, I'm surprised that nobody on Wilson was able to pick that one up because it had popped up into the air, and had enough hang time on it in order for somebody to step right in there.
Exactly.
2nd down and 10 from the 37. Gilbert will give this one to Brock, and he's immediately brought down. You're right, George. They definitely were waiting for him on that one.
54 read that play and came right in. 54 shot the gap and made the play. Who's that young man? 54?
54 on Wilson coming up with the tackle. That's Herbert Putman.
Herbert Putman.
He's been involved quite a bit this game.
Yes, Herbert has been he's having a very good game for Wilson. I'm sure his parents and fans will be proud of his play today. He's doing a very good job, as well as Ricky Gamble Jr. on offense. The quarterback is still warming up. Boy, he's really warming up out there.
Yeah, Deshaun Dash is.
For Wilson.
Obviously, we can't get a look at him right now, but he's right in front of us, George.
Yes.
Constantly throwing that ball on the sideline, trying to keep his arm warm and ready to go for his next chance out there. But meanwhile, it's 3rd and 13. Gilbert back to pass.
Step
the pressure's
up.
coming, and he
Oh.
loses the football,
Oh.
and it's picked up by the Wildcats.
He has no feeling whatsoever for pressure because, I mean, the pressure is coming right in front of him, and he has to step up. If he stepped up, he could at least get a chance to throw the ball away because that's what he should have did. If he didn't see anybody, throw that ball away on that 3rd down instead of turning the ball over, which he just did.
I believe that was Jamal McCullough coming up with the fumble recovery, but yeah, you're right, George. I mean, you can't necessarily blame him. He's a young quarterback. He's only a freshman, so I mean, he's learning to identify what kind of time he has left. But
He has
but
none,
you're right.
man. The funny thing is he
Yeah,
has none.
exactly,
Man.
yeah.
He almost got broken in half. One guy bent
Right.
him backwards, and the other guy, that's why he let go of the ball because he was about to be broken in half.
Right.
You don't want that to happen, so we laughing, but it's not funny. But you got to step up and get rid of the ball, else he's going to get carried off the field, unfortunately, on a stretcher or something if he keeps holding the ball that long.
Here's Deshaun Dash back to pass. He's
Oh.
got pressure coming
he gotta put
his
the ball
way,
away,
and
man.
he
Fumble.
loses the football.
Ball is loose.
And East is jumping up on the sidelines thinking they have it.
That's a poor play by the quarterback there. He's hollering at some of his teammates, but no, that was him.
And it's East ball.
East
The
recovered
sign
it.
by the official, yes. Sorry, George, I didn't mean to
That's
cut
all
you
right.
off, but
He has
yeah.
to. He didn't tuck that ball away. He actually had the ball up around his helmet, and somebody just punched it right out.
That's right.
And you can't do that when you're the quarterback, and he's a big quarterback too. Just put that ball up against your body and take the sack.
Well, this is the second time of the game that we've seen East turn the ball over, and then Wilson turn the ball over not long after that.
Give it
So,
right back to him.
Yeah. And now East is in some pretty good field position to work with. I guess pretty similar to what they were working with before. But now if you're Anthony Gilbert, you've got another chance
I'll
to
run that
redeem
ball.
yourself.
I keep putting some pressure on Wilson's out front line.
I imagine they'll keep it on the ground here, but let's see. 1st and 10 from the 44. Oh,
No.
it's the handoff,
Hey,
and
Freddie
nowhere
Brock.
on that play. Freddie Brock goes nowhere. I'm sorry, it was not Anthony Gilbert, a quarterback. Is Kenny Wilson has come back into the game at QB. I guess maybe to give Gilbert a break from all the hits he's been
Well,
taking.
he was broken
which-
in half. I
yeah.
mean, they stretch him out pretty good. He might be trying to make sure all his bearings and everything is still together over there on
Right.
the sideline.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't want to rush him right back out there. But they really needed to hand it. That was a perfect play to give it to the fullback and go in between the tackles rather than trying to go to the outside.
Yeah.
Because the outside that's the speed. Wilson has the speed. You should be going in between the tackles.
And
against them.
they've had success in this game already going up the middle. East has. So you're right, George. I'm just as confused as you are. As this is now bring up 2nd and 16. Here's a handoff once again, and nowhere on the play is Jaquan close, but a flag has been thrown. And the Wilson coaches are incredulous.
Yeah, because
but
I don't
they're-
think that was a face man. I think he swung him down by his. I think he flung him down by his shoulder pad. He
the
took him
official was
down.
emphatically signaling to the coaching staff, almost as if to say, "Relax, like we're going to make the call here."
Yeah,
but
because they saw the same thing I saw. He grabbed the running back by his shoulder pad and spun him to the ground. And to make it even worse, you could tell that the player didn't even grab his helmet or touch his own helmet to say, "Hey, let me straighten my face mask out." Oh, he's picking it up.
Yep, so no flag on the play, and that will bring up 3rd down then. So now,
Oh, right. Right.
Here's as if-
They spotting the ball in the wrong spot because he was tackled further back than where that ball is being marked. Oh well, 3rd and
nothing
15.
we can do about that.
No.
3rd and 16 for Kenny Wilson. We'll see if he gets a chance to use his arm here. The pressure comes. He gets away momentarily, and he's eventually hauled down into Wilson territory, but it's not going to help him out here,
No.
as that'll bring up 4th down.
I would go for it on 4th down. I would just put him in a passing formation, try to get the ball to Freddie Brock or Jalen Holmes, or even run a screen pass because they as hard as they're coming, if they run a screen pass, a screen could actually work because the rushers are coming and they're not even having no regard for the running game on these last 2 plays. Even on the running play, they were coming hard. So I would slow them down by coming back with a screen pass.
Doesn't look like they're listening to you, George. The
No.
punting unit is on the field,
Yeah,
and it's
They're
a
gonna
high
punt.
snap. There's the
Ooh.
kick, and this kick,
partially blocked, I think. Yep.
yeah, and the kicker didn't get all of it, but they get a good bounce here
There
as
you
it'll
go.
go inside the 25-yard line,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Wilson will take over as we're down to 5:10 remaining in this third quarter here at East High with the Wilson Wildcats on top still by a score of 14-0.
There we go. Let's see. East is going to put it in the hands of their defense once again, and we're going
The
to see.
defense came up big last time with
Yeah.
the turnover,
Mhm.
but I get you can't keep asking your defense to cause a turnover every play. That's
Right.
just not realistic. But
No.
at the very least, I guess in this point, you can say let's hold them hopefully to a 3 and out and get this ball back.
No doubt. Let's see what they can come up with on this.
Deshaun Dash in at QB once again. He's had himself a pretty good game, including a 39-yard touchdown pass. As here he'll hand it off to Ricky Gamble Jr., who's had a good game himself, might I also add. And Gamble Jr. with a pretty good run there to bring up second down.
There we go. Nice run. East could run some clock too. They're winning, so it'd be good for them to run some clock.
That's right.
Their defense has been on the field a lot in this first half of the early part of the third quarter.
It will be 2nd and 4 from the 27-yard line.
All right, here we go. I think they're going to go with another running play here, I believe.
Why not? After you pick up 6 yards the first time around, it would only make sense, but they're going to pass it. Dash back to throw.
Wide open.
He's got a man. It's Gamble Jr. He has enough for
Oh!
the first, and he's still on
Oh!
his feet, shedding tackles, and eventually brought down at the 46.
Wow.
Ricky Gamble Jr., we mentioned that he's
Wow.
been having a great game himself, and he just had another big play.
Yeah, he's electrifying.
But is he hurt on the play? He kind of hobbled over to the sideline without getting up on his feet.
Oh,
He may be
okay.
shaken up.
Cramps. I think it's a cramp. Because number 14 has a cramp as well. 14 came off the field for Wilson with a cramp, and looked like, yeah, he got a cramp the way they're working on his leg. Putting pressure on there to get that cramp. Yeah, getting that cramp worked on, yeah. 'Cause that was a great move he made there. Man,
Yeah.
right by the sideline. They thought he was
shed
going up
three
three
defensive
guys.
backs. Yeah, that was really impressive, if I do say so, on Ricky Gamble Jr.'s part to shed those tackles and get more yards to not only pick up the first down but improve his team's field position.
Getting to a point in the game where cramps and dehydration is becoming a part of the
Yeah.
game. And these
You
guys
said
are,
it.
because on that one play, two of their 4 receivers that were on the field, 2 of them came up with cramps. 14 had he was limping off while the play was still going on. Jakir Moore, number 14, he was limping off with a cramp, and then the receiver Ricky Gamble Jr. Definitely had a cramp as he was tackled at the 46-yard line. Picked up a first down.
Jakir Moore has handled the majority of the punting duties for Wilson. I'm sure Wilson will say to themselves that we hope to not be punting as much as possible, as little as possible, I should say. So hopefully they won't need to use him, but it'd be interesting to see who they'd have in his place punting the ball if it were to ever get to that point.
See, they got a nice first aid person. Lady first aid is working on his hamstring area, calf and hamstring area, for him to hopefully be able to get back out there.
With 4:12 to go in this third quarter, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 46 for Wilson. Dash with the pitch to Hill. Hill down the right side and
Little
a pretty
guy.
good gain.
Yeah, he's a little guy, boy. But he's got a lot of heart.
Daquan Hill has
Hill.
he's gotten his fair share of handoffs in this game so far. He's shown a lot of heart for sure.
He certainly has. He picked up a good 5 yards. 2nd and 5.
From the 49 as Wilson is threatening to get into East territory. And a any kind of score here for the Wildcats would certainly put a damper on East's hopes of getting back into this game.
So here we go. Yeah, really. And now, like I was saying at the beginning of this drive, Wilson should run some clock to run the ball just to eat up some time.
That's right.
Give their defense a little rest.
And there it goes. It's another handoff to Hill, and he picks up a pretty good gain as well. That'll bring up 3rd and short.
Third and short. Here we go.
And as long as you're not overworking Daquan Hill and he still gives you the okay that he's good to go, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave it right back to him.
Right. I would, because they're finding some success inside the tackles. Keep the ball in the middle of the field, run some clock, and if you're able to pick up a first down, it's very makeable. 3rd and 3.
With the way they've been moving the ball lately, I would agree. And Dash will approach the line. And a timeout has been called on timeout for Wilson, yes. Coaching staff saw something that he didn't like, and he'll get his players reorganized as we see a couple other guys on the Wilson sideline there, George, are sitting down. Looks like they're trying to make sure they're stretching. You really hope that with these not severe, but hotter temperatures, that it doesn't lead to any unnecessary injuries. Right. Keep yourself stretched and loose. Maybe I don't know if the trainers if they offer any Pedialytes or anything to get your system back up and running, because you definitely need that on such a hot day. Yeah. Thank goodness there's a breeze out there today. Thank goodness, else it'd really be rough if you didn't have a breeze to go along with this, heat. Okay, 3rd and 3. Here we go. Dash is out of the gun this time. And he will hand it off to Hill. That's close. That's don't think he's going to get it. I think he might be short. It looked like he had some room to work with, but then the East defense came right back at him. I think he has the first down from the way they're marking it. I think he we'll
just
await
got
the official signal.
First down.
And it's a first down, yes.
Yeah, he just got, I think by the nose of the football, he picked that, or maybe the length of the football, he picked that up. That was close. But still, it would have been 4th down, and he still would have had the opportunity to go for it. They got to move the chains. Somebody's sleeping on those chains over there.
The East players were huddling around that spot of the ball, I guess trying to see for themselves if he had made it, but at this point it doesn't matter. It's 1st and 10 from the 44. Here's another pitch to Daquan Hill, and he's going to pick up a bunch right here. He may have just gotten himself another first down.
Very nice run by Daquan Hill. They're finding something here now. Team is wearing down. East is wearing down in this heat. They're running this ball. And this will be a very impressive drive here.
Wilson is advancing the ball on the ground, which means they're also eating up the clock. So that's exactly what they need, exactly what they would want.
Absolutely.
They couldn't ask for anything more at this point. Maybe another score.
Yeah, and they're working their way for that too, the way it looks.
You got it. Dash. Once again, it's Daquan Hill up the middle. And he maybe picked up 2 or 3 in that case.
Yeah.
Good show of sportsmanship there by Andre Jenkins of East for helping Daquan get to his feet. And now Daquan is coming up limping a little bit.
His ankle might be twisted slightly. That's the one thing with the turf fields. You got to get used to the cutting on it. He picked up, and one thing about his running style, he's always going forward.
Yeah.
He's not going backwards. He's the type of back you need to go in between the tackles.
There you get that look of Daquan Hill making his way off the field rather slowly. Ricky Gamble Jr. walked onto the field as Hill was coming off. So we'll see if they get Gamble Jr. into the play once again. He's had some great ones.
Yes,
and there he is in motion. No handoff, dashes back to pass.
Got
down the field, and it's complete over the middle to Kajana Smith.
Nice. He led them just nice on that pass. Boy, this young man has a nice passing touch.
We've mentioned it multiple times today already, George, and this time it was no different as he found Kajana Smith all by himself in the middle of the field, and it will be 1st and goal from the 5-yard line.
Yeah, he has a nice touch.
Gamble Jr. in motion again. Dash will take it himself into the end zone for the Wildcat touchdown.
There you go. 1:07 left in the 3rd quarter. Nice. Ate up about 4 minutes on the clock, and on top of it, gets a score. Unless we have a penalty, maybe. No, it's not a penalty because they. No. Oh, it's on East. Penalties declined.
The penalties declined, and it will be a touchdown. Yes. Good catch for seeing that there was a flag down there, but the field goal unit will come on. We'll remind you, after Wilson's pick 6 in the 1st quarter, they missed the extra point, but on their 2nd touchdown that they got, the big 39-yard pass to Ricky Gamble Jr., they went for 2 and completed it. It was a nice catch by Keandre Rivers to get that, and that's where they stood there until getting this touchdown here to make it 20-0, and we'll see if they can tack on the extra point,
Blocked.
and they do not.
Blocked.
It was kicked by Anthony Dubray
He
Jr.,
kicked
and it
very
was
low.
blocked. Yeah, it was very
Anthony
low.
Dupro, he kicked the one down here kind of low at the other end zone, and it was blocked as well because he's kicking it way too low. Way too low. He got to get a better trajectory on these balls when he's kicking them, just to get that ball up in the air over those defensive linemen. Like he's kicking them almost into the line.
Yeah.
Almost. Holy smokes. So what we have it here, Wilson Wildcats 20, East Eagles 0.
That's
with
it.
1:07 to go in the 3rd quarter. East is great to kick the ball back off to East.
I'm wondering, and I know we asked this question earlier at the beginning on the quarterback choice for East, and after the play where East had turned the ball over, Anthony Gilbert was sat down, and Kenny Wilson came back into the game, and I'm going to be curious to see who they bring out to play QB for this next drive. I could see where they would want to give Gilbert some more time and get him into the game, but I could also see where they'd want to protect him and try and avoid him from taking those hits that he's been, because he's taken about 3 or 4, I'd say,
He certainly
in
has.
this game.
He has taken about 3 or 4 hits. You're absolutely right.
Jakir Moore appears to be okay for Wilson as he's on the field now, ready to kick it away to East. And it's a pretty good kick. Fielded there by the Eagles.
Oh,
and a
man.
big hit delivered. The ball came out, but I believe he was down.
Yeah, he was, because he was
Trying
knocked
to see
down. Oh, my goodness.
who that was for East. I believe it was Trey Dollar on the return.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Trey Dollar or Freddie Brock on that return.
I think it was Trey Dollar, number 20, for East on that return. But either way, a good play by Wilson to swarm the returner and quickly approach him so he's unable to get free.
Absolutely. They have to pick up their pace. They have to, East being they have to pick the pace up. They have to continue to run. I would run that ball just to get some yards, just to get some positive yards before going back to an air attack.
Time is definitely not on the Eagles' side, to put it lightly. And it is Kenny Wilson in at QB for East, trying to draw his opponents offside, but they're holding their ground. And he steps back, and now he moves forward, taking it himself. He's eventually bombarded and brought down, but he did pick up a pretty good amount of yards there. That'll bring up 2nd down with 40 seconds running down on the clock here, as not much is remaining in this 3rd quarter. And Wilson stepping back now with an empty backfield. as you can pretty much assume what's coming here. He'll go to his left, but he's not much room to go, and he's immediately brought down, and the flags are thrown
That's
after
what I'm
the
talking
play.
about, losing your composure.
It's going to be on Wilson, right?
Yeah, on the quarterback
Yeah.
for throwing the ball. He was going to, I guess, spike it, but he threw it at the other team. But he was hollering about he was hollering at his teammates for what I think a perceived not blocking for him. But heck, Wilson's just coming harder. Wilson is just playing aggressive football, where you see East is walking to the huddle, Wilson is running to the huddle. When they snap the ball, Wilson's coming off the ball. They're coming off the ball hard. They playing.
Sometimes those little things, we mentioned this earlier, George, they make the difference. If you're enthusiastic and you're, hyped up about playing a big game, that can be the difference.
That's the end of the third quarter. The guest is winning. Wilson Wildcats 20, East Eagles 0. We're changing ends of the field. Hopefully East will get their composure or keep their composure the rest of the game. This is nothing new for them. They tend to lose their composure a lot. But I must say they've controlling it today a lot better. A lot better, because it was very disappointing seeing them lose their cool against McQuaid, and then before that Churchville Chili as well. So they gotta get themselves calmed down and get out here. And if they hand the ball off and go right up the middle, that can alleviate some of that rush. That can at least slow it down a little bit.
The unfortunate thing is time is not on their side, and by running the ball, it only eats up the clock even more. So they've got quite the uphill battle for this fourth quarter here. And I think, personally, it starts from Kenny Wilson. He can't be taking undisciplined penalties like he just did and further moving his team back. So
absolutely,
we'll see what the coaching staff might say to him and how it will reflect the play on the field. But we should also give credit to Wilson. You mentioned it earlier, George. They're playing aggressive football. They're doing their jobs. They're not hesitating when getting to the huddle and making those plays happen. And might we also add what a game their quarterback Deshaun Dash has had thus far. He has a touchdown pass, a rushing touchdown himself. He's just been a jack of all trades in this game today.
He certainly has. He certainly has. He's a very good football player, and you can see why this team is undefeated. Now, they look like an undefeated team, and it looks to me like from what we've seen so far this season in the games we've called, Wilson Wildcats and the McQuaid Jesuits, there seems to be the cream of the crop of the Rochester City Athletic Conference.
Right.
No, the two best. I was just saying the two best teams of the the two best teams in the Rochester City Athletic Conference seems to be Wilson Wildcats and the McQuaid team, just on what we've seen so far.
Here's Wilson from the shotgun to his right. He completes a pass over the middle.
Nice hit.
And his receiver is upended by Ricky Gamble Jr.
How many Ricky Gamble Jr.'s are out there, man?
Well, there's one playing offense and playing defense. But he's making his plays on both ends of the field for sure.
And that's how you can tell good football players, because he's out there, he's making it look easy. I mean, he just came in, lowered his shoulder, textbook style of football. He's been taught very well. You could tell whoever taught him the game of football and how to play it, he's listened, and he's playing textbook style, because that was a nice hit. He caused the kid from East to somersault into the air, and now it's 4th and 8, and East look like they're going to punt from deep inside their own territory.
It's Kenny Wilson lined up in the backfield, assuming that they are going to punt it away, but who knows? Maybe they'll take a risk with a trick play, and I guess they won't be as they kick it away here.
That's a nice punt. Yeah, he's pretty good. This punter here is pretty good.
Fielded there by Jakir Moore, and he slips on his own and is brought down just before the 40-yard line in East territory.
Yeah, that turf monster will get you every time. Boy, he just reached up and grabbed him. It looked like he was on his way, and then all of a sudden he just was pulled down by the turf.
It's not often we see that kind of slipping and sliding though on a day like this when it's dry and very hot. Typically those are for later on into October of high school football season, when the field is a little bit cooler and the field might be a little bit more damp. But yeah, you're right. That turf monster, sometimes it surprises you.
It certainly does. It certainly does. He's over there talking with Ricky Gamble. Ricky Gamble look like he's giving him some pointers.
Yeah.
Look like he's doing some coaching too over there, Ricky Gamble. I'm telling you, he's something else. You could see he's a student of the game. He's not only playing the game, but you could tell he's quite his football IQ is very high.
He's a team player as well. I'm sure he's not, ripping on his teammate Shakir Moore. He's only offering encouragement. As here's another handoff to Daquan Hill by Dash.
Look at him go.
And Hill
He's something. He got a look.
down the left side for a gain of at least 10 to pick up the first down.
Yeah, he's like a fullback guy, but man, when he turns, you give him a little space, he has a little speed too.
He's making Deshaun Dash's job, the quarterback, a lot easier. Anytime a running back can get these kinds of gains on the field, it certainly sets up his quarterback for success. It will open up the pass game. The ball, it's like free yardage for the quarterback.
Right.
2nd down and 1, they're going to call it, so he did not gain 10. My apologies. It was close enough, though. And they'll go right back to Hill, and now he has enough for the first down and a lot more. Eventually brought down inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, you can see the game. We're in the 4th quarter. East defense is wearing down. Now they're being pushed around, and boy, he gained about 5 more yards after the contact. Pyle just moved another 5 yards, so he's definitely eating his time. He's a good guy to get the ball. He's low gravity, low to the ground, and man, it's hard. It's almost like trying to tackle a bowling ball.
Just remembering now, it's good to see Daquan Hill out on the field because in that 3rd quarter he was limping off after one of the drives before. So it's good to see that maybe it was just a cramp and now he's good to go. As there's another handoff once again. I believe that's Hill again.
No, that's
oh no, it's not. Sorry, it's Desi Floyd Jr. on the carry that
see,
time around.
And he's mixing it up. He's giving the ball to different guys. He's running the ball. He's eating clock. And remember, out here in TV land, we are streaming live on YouTube. So keep in mind, we're streaming live on YouTube, rcsdk12.org. / East YouTube. That's a / East YouTube. 2nd and 8 at the East 19-yard line. Wilson driving once again. Hands off to number 9. There's our guy now. Oh, he got plenty of room.
And Daquan Hill is going to take it to the house and into the end zone for yet another Wildcat touchdown.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They're pulling away.
Salt into the wound for the Wilson Wildcats, or applying it to East wounds, I should say, but for the time being, it's 26-0 in favor of Wilson. And Daquan Hill, he had some good looks in the first half, but here in this second half, it's been quite the performance from him. He's been running it down.
He certainly has. Been dominating this game. Oh, here comes 75 coming out a little late, but hey, he's out there. Extra points. Let's see if we can get this ball a little bit higher.
Yeah, it is Anthony Dubray Jr. again getting ready to attempt the kick.
The second timeout called by Wilson. They had a problem with who should be out there. Somebody forgot they were on the special teams. So they had to use the timeout because he didn't get out there quick enough.
I don't think it will make a difference either way, even if they miss this extra point.
No.
I guess.
This is for future games. This is
right.
They got to get it right.
Dubray Jr. should be, kicking it for that sake. He's got to find his rhythm and got to find his feeling as far as a kicker, because there might be a game for Wilson where these extra points mean something to him.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
He's got to come up big in that case.
They got to. Here they come. Coach has finished talking to them. Because he knows when you get into a close game, every point is going to count somewhere down the line. And we're not too far from sectionals now. I mean, hey, we're a couple weeks. I believe after October 7th, that next weekend is sectional play. So we're less than 3 weeks away. So you got 2 games left, and
here's the kick, and this one is
good.
So
Talk to him, and He put it right through. He still has low trajectory, but he just nailed it. Put it right down the middle. Very nice kick by the young man. Wilson coming back. And Wilson's used to a turf field because they actually play on the turf field over there off of the academy there, behind the academy there on 200 Genesee Street. So they're used to it. They have a brand new turf field of their own now. So they're used to playing on that and also practicing still on that the original grass field back up on Arnett Boulevard. So Wilson is coming a long way. They're growing. I must say they have a very good sports program because their girls basketball team and men's basketball team were close in the sectionals. They went kind of far. They went far. They both had a chance. Matter of fact, they both made the championship game of their sectional division. They both lost, but they both made it. And that's hard to do, to have your girl and boys basketball team make the sectional finals.
Right.
So they're up and coming. Wilson is hey, they no slouch. They obviously the coaching is there. The players are there. The athletes are there at the school. And it's an IB school too. So International Baccalaureate, you can pick up, you can participate. So that's a good school. There's a lot, they say a lot of things about the city schools, but there's some good city schools as well, academically. So come on, East is doing quite well now, and we have
Shakir
Wilson.
Moore kicking it off, and it's fielded there by East.
There you go. He's brought down at the 30-yard line.
I believe that was Jaquan Close. Yes, it was Close on the carry.
Yeah, you notice with the going in this direction, the jerseys just look. I guess it's enough light.
Yeah,
to light up that goal, the numbers, because they look really plain going from right to left. But from left to right, you can't read it from that angle over there.
We'd also, I guess now it's a good time to thank our camera crew once again, the East High students.
Oh, they're doing a great job.
All the work that they've done with, allowing us to see the players and the images a lot more clear, and it certainly makes it easier on us. So thanks for all that you do, guys. You've been a real big help, and if you're a student looking to get involved and you want to try your shot at being a cameraman during one of these games, get in touch with Todd Hall, and he'll be sure to set you up and get you out here.
That's right.
Here's a handoff to Close on first down, and he went nowhere real fast.
Cameraman or camerawoman.
We don't discriminate.
Yeah, we're looking for you. Come on out. If you're interested, come on out. Contact Todd Hall. I'm sure you can call Central Office at 262-8100, and they can connect you with Todd Hall. That's 262-8100. Call Central Office. Feel free to leave a message for Todd Hall, and he can get your youngster, if you're adult watching it. Maybe your son or daughter may have aspirations to be a camera person. Keep in mind, you can be a camera person now and move into front of the camera eventually.
That's right.
You have to
start
somewhere.
You said it, George. Wilson out of the gun on 2nd and 10. And he'll run to his left.
Oh.
Shovel passes, eventually intercepted at the 13-yard line by Keandre Rivers.
Now that was indicative of what we've been seeing all game. He shovel passed it. His guy looked at it, but the Wilson guy wanted it more and went up and took it from him. And that shows you, that goes back to what we talked earlier about what East was walking to the line of scrimmage, walking out onto the field, walking to the line of scrimmage instead of running onto the field and then boom, having that. They haven't had that spurt, and it manifests itself in plays like this. The guy, number 13, just took the ball. All he did was take the ball away from number 11.
You're right, George.
Plain and simple.
I don't know if I would give Keandre Rivers, number 13, the MVP of today's game, but I will certainly put him in the honorable mention conversation because he's had a fumble recovery, a 2-point conversion reception, as well as this interception right here to set his team up in good field position and I guess put the final nail in the coffin for East, because these Wilson Wildcats came to play and they're not slowing down.
Not at all. He's around the ball.
Here's a handoff up the middle to Desi Floyd Jr. by Deshaun Dash, and a pretty good gain there by Floyd.
And also I want to thank our camera crew too for being out in all this heat.
Yes.
It's hot out here today.
Yes, one of our main cameramen, Brandon, up there, he's doing a great job. He came down at halftime and told us just how hot it was. So
we saw him.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
He was sweating all over the place down here, so I know it's hot.
You're a true warrior, Brandon.
Yes, indeed. The whole crew. Good, excellent job. Excellent job today. We have about 6:17 left in the fourth quarter. Wilson's driving once again.
2nd and 4 from the 22-yard line. And here's another handoff to Floyd. To the right side at the 10, inside the 5, and into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Wilson.
Yeah, they're running the ball at will now. Now they're out of gas. The East defensive unit. You could tell they're being pushed off the ball. They just don't have enough left.
Evidently, George, as Desi Floyd looked like he, and with all due respect to Desi Floyd, it didn't even look like he was going all out for the beginning of that run.
No.
He definitely had to power his way in at the end, but props to him, of course, for seeing the opening and taking advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, he saw it and he took advantage of it, and he went in for the touchdown. Picked up enough scores.
Another chance for Anthony Jubray Jr. to brush up his extra point skills, and he knocks that one in again.
Yeah.
And that'll officially make it 34-0 in favor of Wilson.
Oh, this game kind of gradually got out of hand. It just wasn't out of hand for most of the day, but now in the fourth quarter, it has definitely gotten out of hand with East just not able. They're just not able to produce on offense.
So barring any miracles, Wilson will move to 3-0.
And I believe they're 4-0.
Oh, will they?
I think these teams are 3 because they played last week.
Oh, okay.
We had 2 games already. Well, the first 2 games had 2, and then the team played last week. So these teams are 4-0.
Right. Some of those may have been a little bit outdated, but either way, Wilson will be undefeated.
That's right.
Will still be undefeated, and
McQuaid is still undefeated.
Yeah, McQuaid as well.
I saw them last night with a 41-0. They dropped a 41-0 beatdown on Edison Tech last night. I stayed for the first half of that. Unfortunately, someone had a seizure of us driving, and they drove up on the car and hit somebody right before the game started. Unbelievable. There was a lot of chaos and activity. And thank goodness for the police and the security was able to get things straightened out so that everybody was all right and were able to come in and see the game and get the people who were in the car accident taken care of.
Freddie Brock, meanwhile, is bringing it back for East, and he might give them some life here to the 10, 5, and touchdown East.
Go ahead,
Freddie Brock returns the kick all the way after he botched it. The kick hit him straight in the chest and fell in front of him, and thankfully the Wilson tacklers were still a ways away, and Freddie was able to regain possession, and it kind of threw Wilson off, and he took it the distance, and East is on the board.
Same way he scored against Churchville Childline.
That's right.
He fumbled the return, picked it up off the turf, and just for him dropping it, that kind of freezes the defense for a second because they're looking, oh, there's the ball. Let's go for the ball rather than the guy. And when he picked the ball up, boom, he scooted through that hole. And man, I tell you, he's a guy that if he gets a step on you, he's 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be gone.
He certainly showed it there.
Great in open space.
Again, right before that kickoff, I said barring any miracles, Wilson will remain undefeated and East will remain without a win. But Freddie Brock has given the Eagles some life here with that kick return.
Yes, he has.
On to take the extra point, I believe.
Too high.
And
he's back to pass. Number 4 is back to pass. He's rolling out. He's running with it. He
throws it. To the right. He throws, and it's incomplete, so the 2-point conversion is no good.
Oh, man. The guy, he almost got it to him, but no good. But good effort. Good effort by the young man. I mean, he definitely, Josiah
Porsche.
Yeah. Josiah Porsche. Oh, he got a nice luxury name there. All right, he's doing his thing. But he rolled out and played hard. He saw that, and he was smart enough to see that he wasn't going to be able to get in past the 2 defenders at the goal line. So he slowed up just enough to throw the ball and was unable to complete it to one of his teammates in the back of the end zone. And you see a lot of guys still getting worked on for cramps down there on the Wilson sideline. The athletic trainer there, she's been quite busy.
Yes,
she has. Second half with stretching these guys out for Wilson. That's good that you have that. When we played, we didn't have athletic trainers on the field like that. Nowadays, they on the field and they have big bags and they got all kinds of gizmos and equipment in the bag and everything. Man, we had the wooden stretchers and everything where you had to have 4 people carry it out onto the field. And that's in the 70s, y'all. I'm not going, it's not the 50s or 60s, but that was in the 70s. They had the wooden stretchers. But now it's great that how the medical has picked up.
Times have changed indeed.
It certainly
Here
has.
is Ricky Gamble Jr. on the return for
they got
Wilson.
him.
He went nowhere. There is a flag down.
Flag is up, down.
And that was coming from the official, the main official, so we'll see what he signals here.
Let's imagine if they had just 1 or 2 city teams. I think we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
If they had 1 or 2 city teams and imagine you pick the East players and the Wilson players together, and you come up with your team. You have Freddie Brock and you have number 15 throwing the ball at quarterback. And imagine what kind of, they'd be a tough team.
It would be, yeah. Maybe that's a team that can compete with
the Fairports and the bigger schools.
Right.
Because the city really doesn't have the bigger schools anymore because you done broke them up with all these charter schools that you have.
That's right.
They're all broken up, so it's not like the Franklins and all in the East of old. They're not that big anymore. So they're all probably almost considered small schools in a sense.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 19 for Wilson. They were called for a holding on the kickoff. Dash with the handoff to Daquan Hill.
Okay, picked up positive yards. Good 6-7 yard run.
And that'll take us down to 3 minutes remaining now.
Yeah, they could actually run the clock out, get a couple first downs, and they could call this a day with the guys cramping up. We got guys sitting around stretching. So it's been a good game out here. Hard-fought game, and Wilson just pulled away.
2nd down and 2 from the 27. Dash with the handoff. That is
16.
DeAndre Floyd on the carry.
DeAndre Floyd, man, he's getting into the act. He almost picked up the first down.
Might as well spread it around a little bit. Give your main weapons some rest, because they've certainly done their part in this game, and this game is all but out of reach at this point. Deshaun Dash making his way back into the huddle as he prepares for 3rd down.
He had to come all the way over to the sidelines almost to pick up the next play call. So it's down to 1:54 left. 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. They in the I formation. Look like they're going to run the ball again. They're using up the clock.
It would make sense. There's no business in passing it and stopping it, as that's another handoff to Floyd.
Look at that. Look at the extra effort.
Oh, wow. Yes, and he does have enough for the first down, so that will take us to the end of this ball game.
Yes, indeed. Nice run. He was stopped just maybe a yard short of the first down, but the extra effort, they pushed the pile, and everybody on East is tired. They just wrapped them up, but they didn't bring them down. Wrapped them up, and then they just got pushed back by that Wilson front line and pushed for almost another 5 yards. That was almost turned into like a 6-7 yard run.
As we're now inside the final minute, and it's bringing right to that time where Wilson will need it to run out the rest of this clock here. It's a lot to be proud of for the Wilson Wildcats, as we've mentioned already before, George. A lot of great things on the offensive side, some good things on the defensive side, and special teams as well, but they had their work cut out for them, and they got it done today.
They certainly did.
You can see the coaching staff on the nearby sideline going around, high-fiving, patting everybody on the back, telling them, showing appreciation for their efforts here this afternoon.
And this is going to set up, if things continue next week the way they have this week, 2 weeks from now, you're going to have McQuaid playing Wilson. That's going to be a big game. 2 undefeated teams, and whoever wins that most likely will be the Rochester City Athletic Conference champion for the regular season. So that should be a good contest when that happens. Well,
that is our final here at East High School this afternoon. It's the Wilson Wildcats coming up on top of the East High Eagles by a score of 34-6. A great game up and down for Wilson. A lot of great signs of offense and some defensive plays as well. But thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. For George Radney, I'm Matt Stathopoulos, and for our entire crew, one last thank you to Todd Hall for his direction today and all of our camera staff. You guys, we wouldn't be able to do it without you, and we appreciate all the hard work that you put in to make these broadcasts possible. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will hopefully see you all next time.
That's right.
Take care, everybody.
Take care now.